Commanders fans. So we got some positive news and some bad news. I am a little under the weather. I know you guys are gonna, give me a hard time about that, but it is that time of the year. And I did have a couple of weeks where I was fine. There was nothing going on. But I am a little under the weather. So just bear with me here. I'm gonna try to make this a quick video. But so we got news that Dorance Armstrong is done for the season. He had 5.5 sacks. Dorance he was having a darn good year, man. He was having a darn good year. He was on pace to at least for sure get double-digit sacks. He was on pace at one point to get 17 sacks. He suffered a knee injury. Now Dan Quinn said that the knee injury did not correlate with the hamstring injury that he had before. Was it a hamstring injury that he had? I think it was a hamstring. Yeah, he had a hamstring injury. That he had. And but I do think sometimes when you try to overcompensate for other injuries, it leads to another injury. It was a non-contact injury as well, like one of the first plays of the game too, and he should not have played. So I think that is kind of, I'm not gonna say negligent on the staff's part, the training staff, but you shouldn't have played. It's just been that kind of season. It's been that kind of season where if guys have an injury, you gotta be extra cautious with these guys. Like Debo's been playing through it. He's been toughing it out. And that's just what players do. I'm happy that they did slow play with Jayden. The first knee injury that he had, they made him sit out 2 games instead of having him only sit out 1 or try to rush him back because he wanted to play. All the press conferences, he was like, I want to play. It's up to the doctors. So I'm happy that the doctors held him out those 2 games that he missed. But Dorance going to be out. So that's a big loss, man. I mean, Dietrich Wise out for the year. Javonte Jean-Baptiste on IR. They released Jalen Holmes. It's just been a bloodbath. It's just been tough with injuries for this roster. I mean, I can go on. Austin Eckler out for the year. Will Harris injured. John Jones injured. He's back now. Terry, Debo, Noah Brown. I mean, there's probably guys that I'm forgetting that I can name that are on IR or have been on the injury report multiple times already through 7 games this year. So it's been tough. And Luke he was in concussion, little bit of protocol yesterday after doing the leap of faith over on the kick return, and then Trey Amos went to the tent yesterday. So there's just a lot of injuries. Percy Butler's been banged up. Was it Percy Butler? I think it was Percy Butler. He was banged up. He came back for the Chargers game. So it's just sort of a slew of injuries. Dorance Armstrong tied for 6th in the NFL with 6 sacks per PFF. Tied 23rd with assists among defensive ends. Tied 9th with 14 solo tackles among defensive ends. And he had a 77.6 PFF grade. So he was balling, man. He was on pace for a Pro Bowl year, even though we were having a down year. If he would have had like 10 or 11, 12 sacks that he was on pace for, then I think he probably would at least, at the bare minimum, been a Pro Bowl alternate for sure. So, solid stop and a run too, for the most part. So he is a big loss, man. I mean, especially after we're just so thin. So it's just going to be Von Miller. You're probably going to have to sign back Jalen Holmes. Drake Jackson's on injury reserve. That's why I just thought it was silly to sign a guy that was hurt, that didn't play the whole 2024 season, and then the Niners cut bait with him. You could have used the services. Yesterday, really. Drake Jackson, if he was healthy. Preston Smith, another elderly guy, another AARP Life Alert guy who's available. Him, Von Miller, and that's really it. And Jacob Martin played well yesterday, so I'll give him his credit. But we're very, very thin at that position. So, all right, let's move on to Jayden Daniels. Can't wait for Dorance to get back next year, man, because he's a dog. He's played really, really well. He's one of the former Cowboys that have played really, really well. All right, so let's get a quick word from today's sponsor, Sleeper. So this is a video from yesterday or the previous week. I haven't been able to make time to make some picks for tonight, but I'll make some picks, of course, for our game Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. So let's get a quick word from today's sponsor, Sleeper. Ooh, what's good, Commanders fans? Just want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, Sleeper. First time users get 100% deposit match up to $100 using promo code Oliver. If you don't know what the app Sleeper is, it's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the world. I'm telling you guys, you don't want to miss out using Sleeper. And they're also giving out a free $20 entry. So you get $20 to wager on Sleeper as well for first-time users. So promo code Oliver for 100% deposit match up to $100. You can make picks on receiving yards, passing touchdowns, rushing yards, sacks. There's defensive props that you can make picks on. So many things, field goals, field goal points for kicker points, punts, and all kinds of just interesting stuff that you never think about sometimes. But the pick that I have for this week is we're going to use the Bo Nix over a half a passing yard, the free pick that they're giving. And then also JCM Bill over 70.5 rushing yards against this terrible Cowboys rush defense on Sunday at 425. So those are the picks that I'm gonna give you guys for this week. Make sure you guys use promo code Oliver, and then terms and conditions apply. Let's get back to the video. Health Commanders. Peace. All right. So the Dak 1.5 pass touchdowns that did hit. I did put that on Twitter, that play. So that did hit. The Bill rushing yards did not hit, though. It did not hit. All right. Jayden Daniels. Let's talk about Jayden Daniels. So Jayden Daniels, what did they say about Jayden Daniels? Dan Quinn basically said, good news about him. Just saying that, where is it at? He said he had an MRI on his hamstring. It is not considered a long-term injury, but his status for Monday night versus Kansas City won't be revealed until later this week. So this is what Dan Quinn does: is gamesmanship. I mean, who knows? And Dan and Adam, they don't like to put guys on IR. Now, what I will say is, people say that Jayden was not limping. He did do a video with Paige Buchers, the WNBA player for the Dallas Wings. She went to UConn. She may be friends with Juju Watson or Watkins, who is Jayden's friend. They might be, who knows? They just might have intertwined in the women's basketball world, and then Jayden and Paige Buchers may have became friends that way. But the Dallas Wings did post a video of Jayden Daniels with Paige Buchers yesterday, doing some type of TikTok video, whatever it was, or just meeting. No, it wasn't even a TikTok. They were just interacting and exchanging jerseys. So I did see that. So that may be a positive sign. I guess if he was seriously injured, he would not have been interacting with Paige Buchers like that after the game. He did give a thumbs up to his mom that a lot of people have been having debates about. And then his mom said something on Twitter referring to RG3, and people have been having debates about that as well. But back to Jayden, like I said, with this team and with how Dan Quinn handled Noah Brown, he's handled Terry McLaurin with hamstrings in general. You just don't know. They're so tricky. We saw what happens with Curtis Samuel. That's a previous regime, but we saw what happened with Curtis Samuel. He was on the side field a lot. But with Jayden, who knows? He could miss this week, or he could play this week. You never know. He could miss this week. He could miss 4 games. I would not be surprised either way, especially the way this season has been going. And just seeing over the last year and a half that Dan Quinn and Adam Peters have been here, how they handle injuries. They don't disclose any information, whether it's a grade 1, grade 2 hamstring sprain or whatever, strain or whatever happened with his hamstring. And then the thing with the hamstring, once again, is just like Dorance. You don't want to overcompensate trying to do too much and you injure something else, So those are the things you have to think about. But the positive news is it's not considered a long-term injury. Now, if he sits out against the Chiefs, which I think whether he plays or not, we're going to take an L in that game, just being realistic. Always got to be real with ourselves. I mean, you never know. Any given Sunday, any given Monday, as always, But it's going to be an uphill battle, man. It's going to be an uphill battle. We're about to be on a 3-game losing streak, which is rough. And then let's say he sits out against the Chiefs, but he comes back against the Seattle Seahawks at home at 8:20, which I think if you have Terry and Debo back and no, it's going to be on IR. Let's say you have Terry and Debo back, right, for that game, then maybe you can win in a shootout against Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks are playing good football, though, so you can't sleep on them either. They have a winning record. They've been a really good. Jackson Smith and Jigba, all those guys have been balling. Kenneth Walker. But that's just looking ahead. But like I said, think about it again. There is a chance. There's a chance we can still make the playoffs. A 31% chance per ESPN. So I'm not going to be doom and gloom and give up like I was yesterday. But there is a small chance. We just need Terry, Debo, Jayden to be healthy. Or at least one of the 2 receivers got to be available. At least one of the 2. Just give us one. And of course, Jayden has to be healthy. So, all right, I'll wrap it up there. Maybe I'll do duds and duds another time. But I'm just going to stop it here at 10 minutes. I do have some PFF grades. I'll just maybe save that for tomorrow. If there's anything going on. I think you guys know who the duds and duds are. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore and Joey Jr. for the most part. I mean, you can name a lot of people out there too, but I do have the PFF grades. I'll go over that another time. I guess I'll just say who the worst PFF graded player was. Excuse me, and then who was the best? Offensively, it was Marcus Mariota, of course, was the worst PFF grade. Josh Connolly had a 42.1, so he was pretty bad. 43.6 in pass protection. Robbie Chosen was pretty good, 65.7. Larry Tunsil had a 70.3, 79.9 pass blocking grade, so Larry Tunsil played well. Jayden Daniels, 67.4. Defensively, who was bad? Marshawn Lattimore, 29.2. He had the worst PFF grade. What was Bobby Wagner? Bobby Wagner was a 75.6 and 77.9 in coverage. I know you guys talk about him in coverage, but he actually had a good coverage grade per PFF. And then Deron Payne was a 90.8. Jordan McGee was an 87.7, even though Jordan McGee had 22 snaps, so he did play more. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Hail to Commanders. Peace.